Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure running on Nintendo Switch. Okay, we just get back from Nishi's. Let's see, situation has changed since we're here. This is Harold Hayworth in a residential district. I don't think anyone's got as much of a handle on this car as you, Reggie. This is why we want to make you our go-to driver from now on. Sound good? Oh, you really think I'm that great? Alright then, just leave it to me. I don't know which house he's in. Which house is he in? It's McDowell, that's her house. It's Ellie's house. Yeah, that's too bad. There's a little bit of a frame drop there. Excuse us, you put in a request for the special support section? Ah, hello there, SSS. I can't tell you how glad I am that you're here to help with this again. Yes, thank you very much for coming. Can you tell us what happened since yesterday, Chief Tolta? I understand there was a new development in the case. Yes, that's correct. The situation is more dire than we originally thought. I'd like to discuss it in depth with you all right away. Would that be all right? Right now it's fine. Please fill us in on the details. You mentioned that the situation has changed since yesterday. That it has. Yesterday evening I went to the Ash Tree Inn in another attempt to persuade Derek. I told him that Minith character was far too suspicious and that he had to break ties with him. You didn't beat around the bush then, huh? Not for a second, but in the end Derek still refused to listen. However, I did learn something new, and so I hurried here to discuss the matter with Mr. Hayworth. Something new? Has Minith taken some form of action? What Chief Tolta told me caught me off guard. If I may be frank, Minith's grip on the village is far tighter than we had given it credit for. Would you mind elaborating? From what we learned yesterday, several villagers already trust him. Has it gone further than that? Well, you see, Minith has not only secured the private property on Old Amorica Road, but also the deeds to numerous plots and fields in the village itself. He what? As shocking as that is, one question comes to mind. How was he able to pull something off that big? Good question. From what we know, Minith pitched a plan to increase Amorica's lotus production, as he puts it. But by slowly accumulating deeds to the villagers' farmlands, he could expand the lotus fields and streamline their harvests. Moreover, management of the plots themselves would be contracted to the Quincy Company to reduce their required labor. That does line up with what we heard yesterday. At first blush, it sounds like a pretty good deal for the villagers. Yeah, too good to be true. As long as these deeds are in Minith's hands, he can abuse the land in any way he wants. There'd be no coming back from that. Indeed, a man cannot be trusted by any means. Had he solely focused on that private property of ours, even the worst case scenario wouldn't be too terrible. But now that he's using plots of land within the village, the results could be catastrophic. Well, you guys might be shit out of luck when it comes to breaking that contract, though. That's where you come in. If you can expose him, perhaps the contracts can be voided. I know there's nothing criminal happening on the surface here, but even still, can we ask you to look into this? Well, the SSS has never actually been all that beholden to CPD protocol. Our job is to support the citizens when they request it. You've given us enough reason to find Minith suspicious, so we'll gladly help. Thank you, Detective Bannings. All of you have been our village's guardian angels. Where should we begin the investigation? I'm at a bit of a loss on that myself. Me too. It's not as if we have any smoking guns to look into. True. In that case, why not ask Ian for assistance? Do you mean Mr. Grimwood? Yes, granted we're only working off our suspicions at the moment, but if you explain the situation to Ian, he may be able to find a trace of something illicit in Minith's actions. That sounds like a good idea. Even a shred of evidence against Minith would be a good starting point for the investigation. I should warn you, though. Ian's been incredibly busy ever since the mayor advocated for our independence. There's no guarantee he'll have the time to see you. Only one way to find out. Off to the Grimwood Law Office. Maybe we'll catch him. Maybe we won't. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, let's go pay him a visit. We'll leave you to it then. I'll ask my business associates if they've heard of any rumors about Mineth or the Quincy Company. We would appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. You're the only ones I can count on. I'm so powerless in all of this. It's just pathetic of me. Don't worry, Chief Tolta. We'll handle it from here. You just sit tight and relax. And maybe pray to the goddess for good luck while you're at it. Very well. I'll be waiting for you. Where is Grimwood? Is he by the bakery? I don't remember. No, he wouldn't be here. Here he is, West Street. No, that's our place. No, here he is. Oh? Mr. Grimwood. We were afraid you might have been out of your office. Oh yes, I was just in the middle of taking a much-needed break. But it would seem you're in desperate need of my counsel. Is it really that obvious? I've seen those looks on your faces coming through my door countless times by now. Please take a seat. I might be busy, but I'm happy to lend you an ear. Our apologies and thank you. Lloyd and the SSS explained what they learned about Mineth and his actions throughout the past 24 hours. They also mentioned that Mineth had been collecting deeds to plots of land in Amorica Village. I see. This is quite a predicament the village has found itself in. A case such as this would typically be top priority for me. But as you know, I've been busy this past week drafting a preliminary constitution for the mayor. I apologize, but I won't have time to handle the case personally. That's unfortunate, but we understand. We suspected that that would be the case. Still, even just a consultation would be helpful. Very well, I'll give you any advice I can while you're here. We appreciate it, Mr. Grimwood. So, do you have any insight on this? At this point, there is no evidence of Mineth engaging in any unlawful activity, at least as far as we can tell. Is there anything we're missing? I do have one idea. Damn it already. Possibly. An Erebonian contact of mine once provided me with some reference material for a very similar case, though I can't say the circumstances are an exact match. Any lead that could help us with the investigation is a good one. If you think this other case is worth mentioning, we'd be happy to hear about it. Very well. I can hardly refuse you all. From what I can recall. Several years ago, a man visited the estate of an Erebonian baron. He introduced himself as Rittner, an enterprising businessman working for a famous brewing company. Rittner presented the baron with an opportunity to become rich beyond his wildest dreams, and quickly at that. He proposed that the baron's barley fields, which had been passed down the family for generations, be used to establish a brewery. The facilities would be constructed on the barony, and his family would be responsible for managing them. That was the idea, anyway. Hold on a second. What you're telling us is awfully reminiscent of what's going down in Amorica. The baron accepted the deal and signed Rittner's contract. Then, under the pretense of constructing the brewery, the fields and a portion of the baron's land were temporarily transferred to Rittner. Moreover, the baron converted his assets into capital for the sake of getting the business off the ground. Moreover, Rittner soon disappeared with both deeds and the capital, never to be seen again. The hell? The baron and his family panicked after suddenly losing contact with Rittner. At the time, they had no idea of the gravity of what was about to unfold. To their shock and surprise, they learned Rittner had sold the deeds to a third party. The land was to be repurposed into a villa resort. Today, it stands as part of a suburb instead. In the end, the Baron's family racked up a substantial debt. Before long, they had lost their entire territory. With that, the family was stripped of their rank and they vanished without a trace. Damn, that's one hell of a story.
That man conned them into giving up their property and sold it right under their noses. Who would even do such a thing?
Your investigation immediately reminded me of that case. One person lies to earn another's trust before running off with a large fortune. It's a common strategy for committing fraud.
Fraud? If this case is the same, then Minnis may not be a Quincy Company employee at all. He would simply be a con man trying to swindle Amorica for all they're worth.
Precisely. I can't say for certain that's the case here, but I'm concerned it might be.
I agree. There are too many parallels between that story and our case. It'd be best if we shifted our focus to investigating this as a potential act of fraud. That changes the kind of leads we should be looking into.
Exactly. As far as Minith goes, there are two major areas that stand out to me as suspicious. First, that plan of his. We need to find out whether or not he's actually done anything to establish this Amorican Honey Company.
We could probably figure that out by following the mirror trail. You'd have to apply for a bank loan to open a business in Crossbell. If it's all a sham, then we'll find the evidence we need at the IBC.
The other point of concern is whether Min is actually an employee of the Quincy Company. The Quincy Company's headquarters aren't in Crossbell, though, so that can be a little tougher to ferret out.
I may be able to help with that. We should try stopping by my grandfather's home.
The McDowell estate? Why?
There should be a brochure about the Quincy Company there. It outlines how the company operates, and we may be able to find some useful information.
Oh, what's something like doing in your gramps pad, Mademoiselle Ellie?
Well, because I happen to enjoy making sweets, all right?
I once took an interest in the Quincy Company, so I ordered one of their brochures.
Last I recall, it was on a shelf in my old bedroom. Then again, I doubt a simple brochure would have all the information we need.
I wouldn't be so quick to discount the possibility. It's official Quincy Company material. You might be able to find something that conflicts with what Minith said. It never hurts to cover all of your bases.
Agreed. Let's drop by the McDowell estate too and see how it pans out. Thanks for all the invaluable advice, Mr. Grimwood. Because of you, we finally have some leads to chase down.
Always have to be of service. Just to confirm, you said you were using the Hayworth residence as a base of operations, yes?
Yeah, we are.
Very well then. I'll lend you my help with this case for as long as time permits me. Though unfortunately I can't make any promises given my other responsibilities.
That's not a problem at all. You've already helped us immensely. It's nice having a professional in the neighborhood when we can lean on.
I'll try to meet up with you at the Hayworths later. Good luck with your investigation until then.
Thanks, Mr. Grimwood. Okay, let's get this investigation underway. To start, we need to go to the IBC and look into Minith's plan regarding the Amorican Honey Company. It'll be a good idea to swing by the McDowell estate for that brochure too. Something in there might contradict Minith's words.
That gives us a total of 2 leads to follow up on.
Roger, we won't rest until we find that evidence.
Let's see, this is closer, so we can come by and get that brochure.
Let's see. Oh, here it is. This is the Quincy Company brochure I mentioned earlier.
Dang. They even had this sucker bound. Can't say they didn't put any effort into the thing.
They have ample resources to do so, considering the size of the company. Whatever's written inside should be sufficiently credible.
Then it's a good thing we stopped by for it. Alright, let's take a closer look inside. As a leader in confectionery manufacturing, the Quincy Company strives tirelessly towards its next innovation. The brochure aims to briefly introduce the methods and creeds that drive our passion. We believe the key aspect of any confectionery is its taste. Otherwise, how could anyone enjoy it? With this belief as a core tenet, the Quincy Company refuses to compromise on the quality of its projects. Our factories are fitted with the latest equipment and operated with the utmost attention to hygiene. Here at the Quincy Company, we are particularly We're particular not just about the quality of our ingredients, but where they are sourced as well. Our product development pipeline, too, is run with the strictest of standards. Prototypes are personally sampled by our executives who, after many meetings, decide whether a product is worthy to go to market. Only then can they reach the production line. This has been a Quincy company tradition since its founding, such that we may deliver our customers nothing less than the finest confectionaries to enjoy. It is this commitment to excellence that has made the Quincy company the exceptional confectioner it is today. I'm not sure what we were expecting. This is all just your typical corporate double talk. Did anybody manage to find a contradiction between this and something Minutes has said? No, not in particular. Maybe coming here for this brochure was a waste of time after all. Actually, I did notice something. You did? Oh, I get it. You just activated the old detective mode and bam, right? Well, don't leave us hanging. What did you find? If you remember what Minutes told us at the hotel yesterday, the answer is obvious. It was only a passing remark, but it still comes into major conflict with what was written in this brochure. Enough to prove that he isn't, in fact, an employee of the Quincy company to begin with. You got that much out of that one little pamphlet? That's right. You see, if Mineth... Sorry to cut you off, but where's the fun in spoiling it all now? What are you talking about? Well, if I'm being honest, it's annoying that you're the only one who's figured it out. So why not give the rest of us a chance and save it for when we interrogate Mineth? Wazzy, this is an investigation, not some game. I agree with Wazzy, actually. Your hypothesis might not be accurate after all. As a precaution, we shouldn't let ourselves be swayed by a mere hunch. Not to mention, I don't appreciate you stealing the spotlight with your detective mode, as Randy put it. Why do I get the feeling that the second comment was a real reason she doesn't want me to share? Fine, if you two insist. Instead, I want you to all consider everything we've learned so far. I'll summarize the main points of the brochure in the detective notebook. After that, all that's left is for us to visit the IBC. Let's see what we can find out there. Lead the way. Why wouldn't you want your detective to do the detective work? This is such a weird thing. But, you know, it's a plot device to save it for the end. It's just not a very good one. Hello again, SSS. What can I do for you today? Well, we'd like to ask for the IBC's cooperation with an investigation we're working on. Would it be possible for you to do an account search for us, Lanfei? We're hoping to look into some suspicious mirror transfers for a certain depositor. You want me to pull up private information on one of our clients, then? Doing so is within company policy if it's related to a criminal inquiry. But would you mind telling me the details of the situation first? Not a problem. I'll provide information. I see. I believe I understand the circumstances now. Will this be sufficiently probable cause for us to conduct a search? Cracking down on these kinds of things is the bank's best interest too. Fraud would damage your reputation. You are correct, and it is related to a legitimate investigation. I can help, but you'll have to settle for me simply telling you what I can pull up on my terminal screen here. That's more than enough, if you would please. Very well. First, let me search for an account registered under the name Mineth. American Honey Company, subsidiary of the Quincy Company. There we are. We do indeed have an account opened under that name. Hold on. What happened? Did you find something incriminating? Well, I don't have the authority to tell you the exact balance on record, but I will say that the American Honey Company has no more than the minimum deposit in its account. What exactly does that mean? Basically, corporate accounts require an initial sum of capital to open. In this case, the base amount is all there is. From what you've told me, that would leave tens of thousands of mirror unaccounted for. Mineth has the construction of the factory, management of the fields, and more to cover. It is simply impossible for any minimum deposit to be capable of financing all of it. That much is clear. And despite him holding the titles to the land and signing several deals, the balance hasn't changed a single time. It's suspicious, to say the very least. By which I mean the account appears to have been made for the sole purpose of gaining Derek's trust.
Things clearly aren't adding up here, in more ways than one. Yeah, and this is just the kind of evidence we needed. We appreciate your concern, or your cooperation, Lante. Not at all. I'm glad I could be of assistance. Should you ever require anything more, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll keep that in mind. Okay, we now have material on every suspicious aspect of Mineth and his plan. Let's make our way back to the Hayworth residence. Got it. Oh. I must prepare Master Henry a meal that will rejuvenate him after a long day of hard work. But what would be best, I wonder? Well, how about lamb? It's high in protein, yet low in calories, plus it has a wonderful flavor. I'm sure he'd love it. Yeah, it's a good idea. You're very knowledgeable, my lady. Please, Joanna, you don't have to praise me over a simple meal suggestion. Isn't this, where am I supposed to come here? What the heck? So I always forget where it is. Yeah, it's Ellie's residence. Oh, it's here. That's right, Hayworth. Ah, it's the SSS. There you all are. Mr. Grimwood, I'm glad you could make it. Did you just get back yourself, Mr. Hayworth? Yes, I finished asking my business associates about the matter at hand. How did things go on your end? We were able to round up a few leads thanks to Mr. Grimwood. How about you, Mr. Hayworth? I did just the same, in a matter of speaking. You see, I'm not quite sure what to make of it all. Well, you went through the trouble of digging up that info, so you may as well share with the rest of the class. Agreed. The information may be beneficial to our investigation. I suppose you're right. I asked my business associates if the name Mineth rang any bells, having never heard of it myself. What they informed me is that he's been making inquiries into a certain market since arriving in Crossbell. And what market would that be? Land prices in various locations throughout Crossbell. Land prices? He sounds more like a real estate agent at this point. Why would a Quincy Company employee even need that kind of information? The answer to that just might be instrumental in helping us figure out Mineth's true objective here. You think so? That's certainly something worth considering. Incidentally, I may have discovered something else of note since we last saw each other. Huh? Harold, Chief Tolta, could I ask you to help me find something in my office? At your office, Ian? I don't mind, but is it important? Well, it isn't substantial enough to prove anything in and of itself, but we may be able to use it as a final nail in the coffin once you've pinned Mineth down. Huh, you really got something like that up your sleeve, Grizzly Grim? Possibly, but we may not make it in time, so please don't wait for us. You want to get to Amorca Village as quickly as you can. If Mineth is the criminal we think he is, then this plan could very well be in the final stages as we speak. I'm confident, however, that the evidence you have on hand will be enough for you to solve the case. Best of luck, SSS. Got it. Thanks, Mr. Grimwood. Okay, guys, off to Amorca Village. It's time to reveal Mineth's true colors and stop his phony deals dead in their tracks. Right.
to go to Amorca Village, right?
あ、目的地を選んでください。お安いご用です。お待たせしました。
Damn it, did they already close the deal? You six again. The special support section. Derek, Mineth, we have a few things we'd like to ask. What kind of agreements were you hoping to conduct today? Meddling in my affairs on my father's behalf again, are you? Haha, please, Derek. There's no harm in answering their questions. After all, our plans have already been set into motion.
And what do you mean by that?
Right before you all arrived, Derek and I finished signing the requisite paperwork. In doing so, we have arranged to expand the operations of the Lotus Fields lent to me by the villagers. The Quincy Company will then take over the management of the fields.
What? You signed away the rights to almost all the village's agriculture? Is this really what you want, Derek?
What are you talking about? Nothing is changing. I'm only transferring management of the fields to him. Yes, of course. It's quite simple, really. With my company harvesting the honey, we'll be able to streamline the production of the candy. A temporary transfer of the land rights to my company is a necessary first step to facilitate the process.
What a crafty bastard. His scheme has reached its final phase, which means...
Now then, Derek, I'll be delivering this contract to our main office. We'll be in touch come tomorrow. I'll look forward to good news. Sounds great. I'll be waiting.
Lloyd, we can't let him get away. Before you go, Mineth, we have a few more questions.
Oh? And what might they be?
Well, for starters, are you aware of the allegations leveled against you? The primary of which, of course, is suspicion of fraud.
What? That's absurd. How dare you insult Mineth like that? Now, Derek, please calm yourself.
Mineth?
Special support section, was it? What could possibly make you suspect me of being a common criminal? Surely you have some manner of proof of your claim.
That we do.
Intriguing. Why don't you tell me about it then? But first, let me remind you, I am an Imperial citizen. If it turns out that your allegations are indeed entirely baseless, I'll do what I must to right that indignity, police officers though you may be.
That's fine with us. Lloyd, don't worry, Ellie. Let me handle this. Based on our investigation, there's no doubt in my mind that Mineth is guilty. I'm going to expose him as the fraud he is and show Derek the truth.
Oh, very glib. If that's how you want to play this, then go right ahead. I'll answer anything you like. Well, your first question?
Right. About your actions in Crossbell. There's a contradiction between what you've said and what you've done. Could you please recount your actions for me?
A contradiction? Very well. Since arriving in Crossbell, I've been cooperating with Derek to advance our plans. Said plans will result in the formation of the Amorcan Honey Company, a subsidiary of the Quincy Company. He will specialize in producing candy made from Amorca's high-quality honey. Combined with my company's acumen, it is a surefire success. The venture has already been approved by the city and is just about prepared to launch. Tell me, what's so contradictory about that?
Well, everything. This plan is more like a charade from where I'm standing. Our investigation has uncovered a key discrepancy in what you just said. You see, Mineth...
plan is underway.
The records we looked into at the IBC reveal your mistake. You say this plan is prepared to launch. In reality, it hasn't made any progress at all.
Huh?
The IBC? What are you talking about? Consider this. If the Quincy Company truly did intend to go through with this plan in Crossbell, it would need a loan from the IBC to fund the construction and development of the subsidiary.
Well, yes, of course. I registered the company with the city and opened a corporate account.
But that's as far as you went, isn't it?
The account for the Amorcan Honey Company contained no more than the minimum balance required to open it. While we weren't told the exact amount, I would speculate it's only in terms of tens of thousands of mira. Just how are you planning to build a factory and run a business with so little starting capital? You looked into my IBC account?
This can't be true, can it, Mineth?
Oh, please don't misunderstand, Derek. I never said there was any credence to their claims. I'm merely commenting on the audacity it takes to do something so invasive.
Forget that. Explain why there's hardly any mirror in that account.
Being an executive of the company, I must be especially judicious when moving around money. As such, I can't take out a loan on behalf of the Quincy company. Of course, I'll be securing one from the IBC once I've received permission from the main office.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
A deft evasion. Don't count us out just yet. I can tell Minus is getting frustrated. If we continue to press him and pile on the evidence, we can get him to crack. The look on your face tells me you have something more to ask.
It just so happens that I do. That was far from our only point of contention about you, Mr. Mineth.
You still not satisfied? Don't let them rattle you, Derek. This will be a good opportunity for me to clear your mind of any and all doubt.
Next, I'd like to ask about you, Mineth. You say you're an executive of the Quincy company. But is that really true?
Wait, what are you implying? Are you trying to say that Mineth isn't associated with the Quincy company at all?
And that's what our evidence points to.
Ha! Oh, goodness me, I didn't expect you to say something so outlandish. How about I show you my business card and employee ID?
Those articles could be easily forged. Regardless, we have evidence that would supersede either of those. And we found it in a Quincy company informational brochure.
Informational brochure?
Oh yeah, the one in Mademoiselle Ellie's room. We recorded the main points in the detective notebook. The brochure comes directly from the Quincy company's main office, so there's no doubt as to its authenticity. What's more, there's a clear discrepancy between its contents and what you told us yesterday.
What I told you?
That's right. Something you mentioned made it clear to us that you aren't the executive you claim to be.
Creation of a subsidiary. His history in sales. Dislike of sweets. Well, that doesn't matter. History in sales.
Allow me to quote a statement you made yesterday. It was my long-standing reputation as an irrefusable salesman that led me to my current position.
Yes, I said something along those lines. What's your point?
Well, okay. Despite working for the company, I've never been one for sweets. That's what he told us yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Wazzy, how exactly is that relevant?
That's right, I don't care for sweets. What of it? You're trying to say that someone who just likes sweets couldn't possibly work for a confectionery company?
Not this particular one, no. So you caught on too, did you, Tio?
What are you on about? Who do you work for? The confectionery police department?
This is what was written on the brochure. Prototypes are personally sampled by our executives who, after many meetings, decide whether a product is worthy to go to market. Well, isn't that interesting?
What is that? Wait!
It is illogical that somebody who has a distaste for sweets would be employed by Quincy, given their traditions. Would you not agree?
No, I mean, I never said I hated sweets.
That's not going to work on us. You admitted to not liking them in this very conversation. How stupid do you think we are?
Yeah.
That raises the question, why would you lie about being an executive of the Quincy company? It's simple. You intended to gain Derek's trust before ripping him off. This is the only deduction I can make based on the evidence. As for the confectioner seeking to make use of Amorca's honey, the Quincy company was merely a name with weight to it, one that Mineth threw around as a show of credibility.
Mineth, what is the meaning of this? You tricked me? Derek, don't allow yourself to be deceived by these scoundrels. Oh, what'd you just call us? I mean, think about it for a second. Let's say, for argument's sake, that I did come to Amorca Village for the purpose of founding a fraudulent honey company. If that being the case, I had an ulterior motive in deceiving my very good new friend Derek. And what was it? Why would I go to such ridiculous lengths? If you have no proof to back your claims, then you've got no right to call me a fraud. You should arrest yourselves for slander.
We do bear the burden of proof, as well as providing a viable motive.
As far as the motive goes, I think it's a pretty good idea.
I think I have a pretty good idea.
What?
Are you sure, Lloyd? I barely even started untangling everything that's going on here. Don't worry, I've got this. The person who pointed us in the right direction today also went to retrieve the final piece of evidence we need. Last piece of the puzzle that'll oust Mineth once and for all.
Quit with the mumbling. If you have something to say, then out with it.
With pleasure. You went to all these lengths to deceive this village with one goal in mind. Seizing land rights. Your true objective here is to obtain the land rights to mark the village itself. What? A trader we know named Harold Hayworth gave us some information about you. Immediately after arriving in Crossbell, you, Minith, started looking into land prices throughout the state. If you were employed by the Quincy Company in search of new business ventures, this would make no sense. So why do it? I can only think of one possibility. Seizing land was your aim for the very start. It was? Of all the outrageous schemes. There's more to it. Amorca Village is surrounded by scenic beauty, making it a high-value location. Suppose the deeds were sold to a third party as a prime real estate for a villa resort. How much mirror do you think that would go for? Land like this, I would estimate somewhere in the tens of millions of mirror. That said, I don't think the villagers would ever agree to such an arrangement. Exactly. That's what made this whole fraudulent ruse, painstaking as it was, a necessity. Now, if we assume your motive was to obtain the land itself, your actions became that much more clear. First, you obtained the rights of the lotus fields, the farmland, and the village's private property. Then, under the pretext of returning to your company's main office, you vanished from Crossbell entirely. Finally, you sell the deeds on the black market and pocket a hefty sum of mirror they're worth. That, Minith, has been your plan the entire time. Minith, I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Lloyd.
Is that? Thank goodness, it looks like we made it in time.
Derek.
Father? Mr. Hayworth? Aren't you from Mr. Grimwood's office? I'm his assistant, Pete. He would have come himself, but he had to go get back to drafting the Constitution. Did you come with evidence? That we did. Ian said this would prove to be useful insurance. You're all going to want to take a look at this. Pete produced a photograph for everyone to see. It was a man who looked like a merchant with the same face as Minith's. The man in this picture is...
Why? Why do you have this?
A reporter Mr. Grimwood knew in the Empire gave this to him a long time ago. However, the name on this photo isn't Minith, it's Rittner. Rittner? I feel like we've heard that name recently. Ah, I remember. It's the name of the man who stole that Erebonian baron's land, the one Mr. Grimwood told us about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that dude. That's right. I asked Ian about it again, and he said there's no mistaking it. Well, this is a plot twist I wasn't expecting. Lloyd, why don't you do Minith the honors? Tell him the only thing this photo could mean. With pleasure. The reason the man before us, Minith, and the man in the photo, Rittner, look identical is... Oh, they're the same person. Minith and Rittner are one and the same. That's the only explanation. And it's because they're the same person that their MOs are such a close match. Mr. Grimwood came to the same conclusion. This man must have been swindling down to the exact orbital science. Or this man must have swindling down to the exact orbital science. You're a crook, Minith. As such, you'll be charged with attempted fraud. This is, of course, on top of the fraud you previously committed in Erebonia. I can only guess how many skeletons we'll find in your closet when we're done with you. I would very much like to hear all the details in the department's interrogation room.
Damn you! I am a professional. My work must be flawless. You meddlesome brats!
Minith?
Don't get all full of yourselves just yet. You may have won this time, but I won't be apprehended so easily.
What?
Come, my lovely beasts.
What? Monsters? They appear to be well trained too. These cougars. Don't freaking tell me.
No! Derek! Chief Tolta, it's too dangerous.
Do you have any idea what you're doing?
I know precisely what I'm doing, hence why I'm doing it. Oh, and don't think even for a second about trying to fight me. That is, unless you don't value the lives of Derek and the villagers. Now, step aside if you would. Haha, fare thee well. We shall never meet again.
Derek! Damn it, we can't just let him escape. After him. No! He managed to get away. I've never been so frustrated. I can't believe a spineless coward like him gave us the slip. At least none of the villagers were hurt. Let's look at the silver lining. What a mess. If we come across him again, he won't be so lucky. For now, though, let's regroup with Chief Tolta and the villagers so we can report what's happened. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can't thank you all enough for what you've done today. Well, he still has the contracts. He doesn't. They haven't done squat, really. It is no exaggeration to say that you saved the village from the clutches of that con man.
But we still got away in the end. Yes, but now the department knows to keep a lookout for him. It should only be a matter of time before he's caught.
Derek? I made a grave mistake and I put everyone through so much trouble just so they could fix it. I let that man rope me into his scheme and it nearly cost us all of our livelihoods.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You're not the one who's guilty.
Wrong. It's my fault completely. No two ways about it. I was so desperate to fix and reform Amorica that I ignored my father and almost drove it to the ground instead. I had no right to become the next village chief. This is where you're wrong. Father? I've been so stuck on the old ways that I never tried to hear your proposals for what they were. I've known the village will go under if we maintain our current course, and yet I've done nothing. It's my inaction that drove you to do this. Thus I must bear a large share of the responsibility for letting it happen. That's very admirable, Chief Tolta. Thanks to this crisis, I finally realized where I went wrong. The welfare of this village cannot hinge entirely on the ideology of a single stubborn old man. So instead, Derek, I would ask that you would provide me with your input as well. We will each contribute our ideas and discuss them with the villagers. This is the only way we can ensure a future for Amorica. You're right, I'm so sorry, Father. From here on out, I'm going to dedicate myself to the betterment of the village.
I'm happy you two were able to reconcile.
Haha, same.
Makes almost losing your whole village to some crook worth it, wouldn't you say? Put a sock in it, Wazzy. Learn how to read the room. I'm really sorry about him. I swear we've tried everything.
At any rate, we owe all of you an enormous debt, so allow me to express my thanks once more. I also owe my gratitude to Mr. Grimwood. It's a shame he couldn't be here.
I'll pass your thanks on to Mr. Grimwood and let him know what happened.
Even if I only played a minor role, I'm glad I could be of assistance. I look forward to our continued partnership, Chief Tolta. Same to you, Harold.
If you could, keep a lookout for Mineth, just in case he returns. And of course, you can always contact the SSS if you ever need our assistance.
Hopefully, it'll never be for anything related to this ordeal again. We'll be sure to keep you in mind. Again, how is this case closed? Because he can still run off with signed contracts and sell them. Well, you know. Maybe it gets explained later. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be another part to this mission. Okay. A dangerous monster, Nepenthes G, has been sighted on West Crossbell Highway. Okay. West Crossbell Highway, huh?
乗りますか？どこに行きますか？お安いご用です。お待たせしました。
Okay, so where could it be?
かかってきやがれ。
そこです。戦闘終了。やれやれです。
全力で行かせてもらうぞ。
さてそこ
おっしゃぜ戦闘終了。全員無事だな。
やってや。
みんな気をつけて。
やった。
はい
Let's see, how tough are they?
撤退を開始します。撤退失敗です。
おっしゃとっととずらかるぞ。とっととずらかるぞ。回り込む。
そこだ。
さてと
I didn't even look at their level.
みんな撤退してごきげんよう。
Level 86? What am I? 67, yeah. Not quite ready for that.
えいと
Not quite.
スト。
Okay, so this is Belgard.
やっとやった。
データ収集を開始します。行きます。これもみんなの勝利ですね。
やってや。
Gotta figure out where along this entire road this thing is. Nox Forest Road? Not that.
やってや。
先生から始めましょう。ステータスオールグリーンです。
歯ごたえありそうじゃねえか。
Actually, he should build up his. Oh,
よし。 これで決めた。どうで。
行きます。ガンナーのオーバードラッキー私の番ね。気が的に力があるきエアリ
行くぜぜ
私の番。
行くぞ。
そこさてドライブ開始や。
行くぜ。
任せてスト。
任せてや。電池ネット投射。行きます。エニグマコドや。
俺の番だ。ま、こんなもんかね。
よし。やったぞ。
当然の結果かな。
a craft book. This one looks like it suits Randy and Wazzy styles. Oh, good stuff. Want to give it a shot, Wazzy? Yeah, I'm game if you are. Last Rebellion. Okay. So they weren't too far away from the center. For once. Most of the time they're like super far away from any checkpoint that's around. Making finding them that much more frustrating.
どこに行きますか？お安いご用です。はい、到着しました。
taster master we can't do yet.
皆さん、それではい、お疲れ様でした。はい、おめでとうございます。ランクアップしました。わわ、大変でしたね。特典の品もすぐにそちらにお疲れ様で。
Okay, so all these are done. That leaves us. Oh yeah, I want to go to the Bell Studio. Yeah, that's right.
あ、乗りますか？どこに行きますか？
Set Bell Studios here.
お安いご用です。お待たせしました。
えいでややっはえいでやせいはすでやここは俺たちのターンだ。
そこです。
よしやってや
任せてや。
俺の番。はっはっ、ちょろいぜ。
えいでやすでややってや
かかってきやがれ。
そこです。
任せてくれと。まだまだいける。ストップ。あれは
運搬車。
マイスター、本当に助かりました。なんとかあさっての公演に間に合わせられそうです。
まったくお前たちの劇団ときたら毎度毎度要求が高すぎる。オートマタの調整ならまだしも新たな舞台装置の発注までわしとて暇ではないのだぞ。
本当に申し訳ありません。何せイリアさんと劇団長からの要求が高くて、ついあのような仕掛けまで追加発注させていただきました。
まあいいだろう。我が工房の技術お前たちの舞台に生かす方がエイドスの意志にはかなうだろうからな。
あ、はあ。それはそうとマイスター、前々からお誘いしている通り、ぜひともアルカンシェルの公演をご覧になっていただきたいんですが、いつも素晴らしい人形と舞台装置を提供していただいているわけですし。
相応のミラは受け取っている。わしは忙しいのだ。好意だけもらっておくとしよう。
あ、はあ、やっぱり応じてくれないか。せっかくの舞台装置、どのように使われているのか一度見てほしいんだけど。おや、確か特務支援課の。
はい。
アルカンシェルの技師をされている方ですよね。
ええ、舞台装置を担当しているハインツです。珍しい場所で会いますね。マイスターにご用ですか？
ええ、ちょっと相談に乗ってもらいたいことがありまして。
そちらは舞台用の装置を受け取りに？
ええ、オートマタの調整と新しい舞台装置の製作をお願いしておりまして、リニューアル公演に合わせた無茶なスケジュールでしたが、なんとか仕上げていただきました。いやー、劇団員一同、マイスターには足を向けて寝られませんよ。
なるほど。
そういやアルカンシェルのリニューアル部隊の初公演はいよいよ。
ええ、イリアさんをはじめ団員全員がかつてないほど気合が入っていまして、舞台装置担当としても身が引き締まる思いですよ。
そうですか。さぞかしすごい舞台になりそうだね。
おっと、こうしちゃいられない。早く帰ってセットしないと。皆さん、私はこれでまた劇場にいらしてください。
はい、それではどうかお気をつけて。
おいおい、どういうことだ。アルカンシェルの舞台装置ってのはあのじいさんが手掛けたもんなのかよ。
そうみたいですね。ワイヤーアクションといい、相当高度な技術が使われているとは思いましたが。
とりあえず留守じゃなくて助かった。結社の動きについて話をしてもらえるかどうか。とにかく
はい。
虎穴にいらずんばってところかな。
Alright, why don't we stop it there for now? This is Audapostrophe. You've been watching The Legend of Heroes, Trails to Azure, running on Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.